People have been seeing aliens for thousands of years, but there's never been a single piece of hard evidence. Now, it's possible the Starchild Skull is just that.
We are here today with Lloyd Pye, who has worked as a military intelligence specialist. He has more than 30 years studying cryptozoology. He's the primary expert on the Starchild Skull, having researched it for more than a decade.
Why all this interest in it?
I believe that it stands a very good chance of being the smoking gun that everybody is looking for, the holy grail of the field of UFO alien research.
What I want to hear first is not only what do the specialists and the medical doctors think, but what kind of tests have been done and what exactly were the results.
Could you walk us through the main differences between the Starchild skull and a normal human skull?
The eye sockets of a normal human are about 2 inches. Starchild's not even 1. There are no sinuses in here, no upper sinuses at all. Then you turn them around, you notice that the chewing muscles that come up through here and spread out to attach your jaw and chew cover quite a wide area here. With the Starchild, it's much reduced, so we have a much smaller, much reduced lower face. And there are fibers woven through the matrix of the bone, which were found under a scanning electron microscope.
Does this skull have any fibers at all?
No skull of any kind of primate that we know of, or any really bone that we know of, has those kind of fibers. They seem to be unique to the Starchild.
Although I haven't seen a gray myself, I mean, everyone kind of knows what they're supposed to look like. A large head, wraparound eyes, small mouth, and it seems like this skull would sort of fit in with that description.
If you turn around and look on the inside and you feel in here, you feel that ridging of bone that will hold the cerebellum in place. With the Starchild, because it has such expanded brain pressing down that way, at such a steep angle, we should have a spreading of the foramen magnum, but we don't. So we have a very different kind of brain in this skull, whatever it is. Now, if you stick your finger in the foramen magnum hole to simulate a neck, right, you see how the human is there, so it would be like this, but the Starchild's actually balanced like this. So it's kind of like a misshapen golf ball on a tee. It's very different from the human neck in that it's half the size and it's centered up under the head.
When you see how the neck connects to the skull, that's a closure for me. It's not a deformity. It was built that way.
We've had the DNA of the human tested fully recovered, no problem, normal human being. But in 2003, we found that the DNA of the Starchild was very different. While we could recover its mitochondrial DNA, which comes from its mother, the nuclear DNA, which contains the DNA of its mother and its father, we could not recover that, which indicates that there's something very unusual, if not completely different, about the father.
Where is the mitochondrial DNA from?
In all of our cells, we have cytoplasm. Floating inside the cytoplasm are little chips. Imagine them as raisins floating in a soup. Those little mitochondria come down from your mother.
Is this the mother of the skull? Is that what we're saying?
We have been able to prove that is not the case for sure. They are not genetically related.
In the case of the Starchild skull, mitochondrial DNA has proven that the mother is human. However, nuclear DNA, it should have proven that the father was human as well, but it didn't. It was inconclusive. What this means is that the mother is human, but the father is simply unknown. To your knowledge, is there any reason why the nuclear DNA was not recoverable other than the fact that it's not a human father?
If the father had been human, all indications are it should have pulled up very easily with the primers that were used, but it didn't, so we can only conclude that there's something very unusual about the father.
Guys, I think one of the problems to getting answers to this skull is that it's obviously incomplete. I mean, a large portion of it is missing. The entire maxilla and facial structure is gone. I'd like to know if you would mind if we took this to Los Angeles and have a specialist reconstruct this so that we could see what this person or creature looked like when it was alive.
I would be as anxious to see what it would look like as you.